On this episode, we're talking about practices that look old, setting up Facebook for multiple locations, and the one marketing key you need to focus on. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the 88 Dental Marketing Show. You know that this is the internet's only dental show that's answering marketing's most important questions. That is what we do. I'm your host, Joshua Scott, and this is episode number 48, coming off an amazing summer weekend here in the Midwest, where I think everybody just had to get outside and enjoy it. Hopefully, wherever you're at, you experience the same thing. But we got a busy week coming up, and so wanted to get an episode shot and up for you guys. I am actually taking off on family vacation towards the end of this week, and you know what that week leading up to vacation is like. I mean, it's just madness, insanity, trying to shove everything in. Sometimes it makes you wonder why you're even leaving. So that's going on. Also got a road trip this week with the crew. We're headed over out of town for a few days. Got a few client projects, meetings, video production. Got a few meetings with potential clients. Just a lot shoved into a few days. And so it's gonna be fast paced, but good time hanging out with these guys for a few days. Before we get to some questions, article of the month, you'll find it down below, but it's called Haters Gonna Hate. And it's really about how to deal with online reviews, negative comments, negative reviews that happen. And for every 30, 40 amazing reviews you get, you're gonna have these negative ones, and they tend to stand out and just, it's like, I mean, you can have 38 amazing 5-star reviews, but you get that one negative one, and it feels like a personal attack. And so this article was designed to be almost a proactive way to approach that before it happens. Like, let's get a game plan together on how we're gonna deal with negative responses before they happen, and then we have a plan in place. So check it out, link is down below. Listen, would love your comments on it. Feel free to leave those on Facebook or wherever you're finding that article. Also, would love your questions, your marketing questions. Please leave those down below as well. And let's hit question number one.
Our first question is from Dr. Alex Siva. For a practice on a tight budget, where would you spend the most? Marketing, visual updates and renovations, or invest in technology?
Dr. Alex Siva, thanks for leaving the questions and the conversation back and forth on Facebook. Listen, I think it depends on the size of the practice. And so if the practice is large, I would probably invest in the renovations and bringing up the whole image of the practice, because you have a patient base there. So the best marketing you could probably do initially is to market to them. It's a real clear sign that things have changed in the practice, that you're upping the quality of care, and that you're investing back and that you care about the patients. I mean, that's what all that says. So I would probably go there. If the patient base is smaller, then the strategy might be to build that patient base. And so I might invest in marketing that way and more external marketing. Notice that technology is probably not on either of those lists. I think technology is something that gets paid for in the growth of the practice. So as the practice is growing, as you're making money and becoming profitable, now invested in technology. But you don't have to do that to accomplish what you're trying to now. You either need to invest in the renovations and make the practice look new for the existing patient base, or grow the patient base with external marketing. But honestly, if the practice looks old, you're just always going to be overcoming that hurdle. It's always going to hurt you. So without talking to you specifically and seeing the practice, that's probably my best bet.
Question number 2 is from Dr. Harris. How would you set up Facebook for a multi-site practice?
Dr. Harris, great question. Some of this is going to depend on what your goals are with the practice. But honestly, when it comes to setting up Facebook for multiple locations, what we like to see is one Facebook account for the entire practice. So I'm going to assume that your practices are all branded under the same name, same brand, right? So if that's the case, like it's set up more like a corporate chain or a DSO type practice. If that's the case, one Facebook account for one brand, but have multiple pages or locations within that account. And so Facebook allows you to do that. So, for instance, you could have a practice, but then have the North location and the South location. So one Facebook account, but a North page and a South page. What is really, really great about this and what Facebook allows you to do is anything you post to the, let's call it the global account, the just Facebook account, everybody sees that. So whether they're on the North page or the South page, everybody sees those posts, but you can also post from the South or post from the North, and those just stay on those pages. So it gives you a chance to kind of post globally to all the accounts, but also post locally from those practices. And so, long term, again, depending on your strategy, you can control the brand from a very high level global position, but you can also allow those locations, somebody at those locations, to post specifically what's going on there. And so it's the best of both worlds. I mean, you can control the brand, but then also give freedom to those in those locations. So I think it's a great option. That's how we set up Facebook, and encourage you to do the same. Ba, ja, karate chop.
And question number 3 from Jeremy. I'm working with a new practice to help them set up a marketing campaign. What's the biggest key I should focus on?
Hey, Jeremy, great question. Honestly, the one key is to pace yourself. Pace yourself for the long term. Marketing just takes patience, and especially if it's a startup practice or you're buying a practice that really is never marketing, and in a sense you're starting from zero, man, it just takes time and patience. There's a study that recently came out by Bain & Company, who's one of the nation's top branding marketing agencies, consulting agencies in the nation. And this study said that a brand who markets aggressively, right, and does everything right, can expect on average to gain 1% of market exposure every year. So they've studied this, and they said that let's say you have 15% exposure in your city. People know your brand and know your name. They know your dental practice, but you want to go to 25%. It's literally going to take you 10 years, because at most, with an aggressive marketing plan, you're going to grow 1%. And so I don't think we always get that. I don't think we always look at it like that, but that's what the professionals are saying. And so if you're starting at zero and nobody knows who you are, you've bought in a practice and changed the name, or you're starting from scratch, then it's a year just to get 1% of exposure. And the next 10 years is literally just building tough, just every day, every month, marketing all the right moves just to gain that name recognition. And so it's a long-term play. Marketing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so marathons become about pace and about energy management. I've run one marathon in my life, and when you're running for 4 hours, you've got to manage your energy. And so I had this hip pack on with peanut butter sandwich and crackers and apples and all those things, because your body just starts to shut down. It needs energy, it needs fuel. And so what you're trying to do is pace yourself for the next 10 years. Manage those resources. That's your fuel. And know that you're playing the long game. What you can accomplish in 10 years is so much more, but you'll get discouraged if you just focus on year one. And so, moving things, you're starting with zero momentum, right? And so moving from 0 to 1, just trying to move that needle, one click, that 1%, that's the hardest effort that you're gonna have to put forth. It's gonna take the most resources, it's gonna be the hardest, take the longest, right? But now from 1 to 2, the distance closes a little bit. It doesn't take as much energy. It doesn't take as much time. 2 to 3 gets a little bit closer. By the time we get to 6, 7, and 8, now we've got the law of momentum kicking in and working for us, and things start moving faster and they're taking less energy. And so, man, that's the key. You can't play this game for a year. You got to play it for 10 years. And in the end, that's what's going to bring you the best results. And so that's my advice. Hope that helps. Guys, this has been episode number 48. Question of the episode before we go: does your practice look old? I mean, when was the last time you walked in the front door and checked it out with kind of fresh eyes? I mean, don't walk in the back entrance, go in the front, park in the front, walk in the front door. What does it look like? What are you seeing? When was the last time you updated it? Do you just need to freshen things up to help patients feel like they're valuable? It's a valuable experience. So that's it, episode 48. Thanks so much for being here. Remember to leave your questions. I'll see you next time.